Oh yes, heater on, because it's still not quite warm. I would like to say it's early in the morning and it's cold, but actually didn't get my ass out of bed till 10 o'clock. Right, the question is, that envelope down there, will the contents of that envelope cure Nibbler's little leak? Yes, as you can see, it's been a while and there's a patchette there. New work light, lovely. Yes, beverage. So, yes, I'm going to get myself organised, clean the drain pan, because we need to drop the coolant, get the water pump out. Nice! We need to move the clutch slave cylinder out of the way to give us a bit of room. Morning. Right, next we're going to drop the coolant, and the proper manual way of doing it, according to the Haynes Book of Lies, is the drain hole. I'm filming. Wanker. Is a proper drain bolt on the pipe under here, which is there. Stupid place to do it. You could actually, because we're pulling this pump, just pull the pump and it will all piss out, but we'll do it properly and make a change. Yeah. Yes. But that looks rather dirty, but since the last time I put coolant in it, obviously the engine's gone through loads of heat cycles and there was still a bit of engine flush in there, which is entirely deliberate. But yes. Not very clean looking at all, which is good because it means it's removing the shit out of the engine. But yes, I think new coolant required, because that looks like ditch water. Nice. I've got my new word light there. It's very powerful. Yes. Good investment, perhaps not. Right. So that's cooling. We can start getting this fella out. And first of all, I'm going to remove this pipe to give us access to all this. Might have to just cut that cable tie, get some wireage out of the way. That is the I can't remember what that is. don't know whether it's not neutral switch actually, not sure. So yes, I will just tidy this area up a bit. I'll bring you back when I've done that. Anyway. As you can see, that O-ring is designed to separate the cooling water from the oil, basically. The oil pump, you can see the oil pump shaft in the end, and the oil pump drives the water pump. So the O-ring at the back is designed to separate the oil and water. There is also a blow-by hole in this pump, which if you ever get an overpressure in the cooling system or something like that, it will blow the coolant through the bypass hole, but that's filthy milthy. So yeah, that is my favourite for the leak. So I'm draining the oil anyway. I'm changing coolant and oil. I was hoping to reuse the coolant, but that ain't going to happen. It's like ditch water. So I'm going to just drain everything here, and it'll all go in a container. So pop the sump plug and just drain that, because that area there has to be spotless before we can put it back in again. Nice, but I'm confident that's the source of the leak. Right, I'm going to get the water pump on the bench as well, because I have a brand new gasket for the inside. I get rid of this unsightly RTV, which I'm sure I only put there just to get it running, basically, and it's been left there. So I have got the proper gasket. Nice. And I've got to pop the sump plug first though. Well, the water pump's okay, impeller's okay. There's no marking on the inside of that to show that it's been hitting anything. But yes, overzealous use of RTV there. But I do have a brand new gasket, so we'll clean this up, put the new gasket in, put the pump back together. Yes. Right, Well, that's not gone bad so far. I was, in the back of my mind, hoping to reuse the coolant, but I'd actually forgot I'd put the engine flush in it, and the idea was run it for a few hundred miles and then swap everything out anyway, which is why the coolant is like dishwater. In fact, it's worse than that, it's pond water, which shows that the flush has done its work. So yes, here's the face of the water pump, and as you can see, there's no markings or gouges or anything like that on the face, which sits against the impeller, which is in good nick. So I've just got to clean this up. Let's get rid of this bit of silicone, look. Yes, yes, yes. I've got the new O-ring, and I've got the new pump gasket. So yes, those will go in. If I run my finger along the shaft of the water pump, I can't actually feel the O-ring, so it's shrank, gone flat, etc. So yeah, that's a good sign. I'm pretty sure I didn't replace that, because all this has been apart before. And for someone who hates RTV, yes, silly boy. Anyway, you should never need RTV with a gasket. The gasket should do the job on its own. Hand gestures with kick. But obviously I either couldn't afford to replace these gaskets at the time, or I was just impatient and wanted to get them fixed, which is more than likely. You know, if I want to get something going, it's pushed out the window, it's going. So yeah, so I'm going to pick this seal out, and then we'll see how we go flow. Yes, yes, yes. Satisfying. Well, yes, that went airborne. I know my hand's in the way. I could move you, I suppose. Yes. Let's move the audience, Jiminy. There. Can you see more or less? Pick the best. Everest. Jim, you've got proper gasket scrapers for this. I know, but you know, an extra 5 minutes doing therapeutic scrapage. Anyway, I'll crack on with that, because I'm going to wire brush it and Dremel it and all that bollocks, and I'm going to Dremel the shaft of this, make sure there's no corrosion on it, anything like that, and get my paintbrush out and clean all the crappy dirt out, and I might even give it a little who knows, but until then I shall bring you back later. Right, the pump's back together with the new gaskets and O-ring, and if I rub my finger along there, I can actually feel the O-ring now, so that's good. I don't think I'm going to give it a spray. It's only removing the pump. You only have to take the top and bottom bolts out, because they're the mounting bolts. These are just clamping bolts for the pump, but I'll give them a final tighten when it's on the bike. So yes, nothing much to do but to refit it and then go and locate some oil and coolant. It could be a trip to Halfords, yes. Yes, I'm back from the Emporium with oil. Coolant is on the other side of the bike. I've got some good quality coolant. Oil. For 4 litres, technically Nibbler takes 4 litres. but always handy to have an extra litre as a top up, etc. When you put 4 litres in a ZX10, it barely shows on the sight glass. It certainly doesn't go up to the full mark, and what you're supposed to do is put your 4 litres in, run it for a second, and then turn off and then remeasure. But anyway, yes, for 5 litres of this oil, I've gone for a very good quality Castrol Power one. I thought we'll put a bloody good oil in it, because then it should, if it doesn't piss out everywhere, it should last a good while. If I say it fast, it's not going to be too bad. Yes, you heard that correctly. £67 for that. Bear in mind that the last oil I put in was about 30 quid. So, you know, I know the price of oil has gone up, but I thought we'll give it a treat this time round, as it's now done a few miles since its rebuild. We're getting all the gunk and shit out of the engine, especially with the coolant. I've got some good coolant on the other side of Nibbler, and I did also buy 5 litres of light brake and clutch cleaner, because it's a lot more efficient to buy it like that. And where I got this stuff from was a local motorist centre, and to be fair, they were the same price as Napa and stuff like that, so there was nothing in it. So you know, like £115 later, fuck my ring. But yes, sometimes it's worth a little treat. So that's what we're going to do now. Is I'm just going to double check that I've tightened this down. I'm going to put a little paint mark blob on the impeller and just thumb the start up very quickly, just to make sure the impeller's engaged. I'm pretty sure it is, but it just what are you looking for? English loading. Yes, it just double checks that you're engaging correctly. We've got to put the pipe back on, and we've got to put this pipe back on. I was tempted to take this pipe completely off and repaint it, which I might still do, because let's be honest, there really isn't a rush. I can put the slave cylinder back on, put a little bit of greasage in here so we don't get any more corrosion. I can put the oil in, that's not a problem at all. The oil filter is very clean, and last time I dropped the oil I did put a new one in, so this oil filter is only done like 40 miles, so I'm going to just leave it in. And usually when I do oil change on bikes, I normally do the filter every other change. I don't do it every change, as long as it's clean. But like on Rosie, the diesel, they're 15,000 mile oil intervals, and I do change the oil filter every 5,000 miles on that, because it's just dead easy and you don't lose any oil, because it's a vertical system. So yes, so I'm going to be starting to crack on edge with that. The pipe is in, the little drain plug is in. I'm just going to give this a quick spray off, and then we'll put this pipe in. I'm not going to paint it because I can't be arsed. Nice. I've just noticed this new oil is in fact red, so surely that means it's faster. Bernard's happy. He's up on the roof messing around. Hello, say hello. Right, on to more important things. Me. Yes, I found a discrepancy. Every Japanese motorcycle I've ever owned, yes, thank you, you've introduced yourself, has the oil capacity of the engine on the crankcase somewhere, not the cylinder capacity, the engine oil capacity. That quite clearly says 4 litres to me, oil 4 litres. So when I've been doing oil changes on Nibbler, I've been putting 4 litres in. But according to the Haynes Book of Lies, let's get organised. No, Jim, we're not organised. It says, it doesn't say that, that's just flatulence. Oil capacity at oil change. Now, this book is for the ZZR 1100 as well, and the GPX 1000 and all that lot. But it says oil capacity at oil change, all other models, which means the ZX10, the GPZ 900 and all that lot, 2.7 litres. And with a filter, 3, which sort of makes sense. I've just put not even 3 litres in Nibbler, and it's like super full on the sight glass. What you're supposed to do though is run the engine up to temp and then check the level. But I'm going to actually drop what I've put in and then put in 2.7 litres. Yes. Right, she's all back together. I put the correct quantity of oil in it. I've only just turned the bike off, so she's still draining into the sump. Basically you're supposed to get the engine up to operating temp, turn it off and then check the oil level. Everything seems to be watertight, oil tight. There may be just a little bit of blowout from that little weep hole in the pump which I talked about earlier, because I sprayed a bit of parts cleaner in there. If it still leaks after this, it was leaking at that O-ring at the back without a doubt, but if it leaks after this, there is an internal seal in the water pump behind the impeller. Basically on the shaft of the impeller, there's a seal there, there's a circlip which holds the shaft in. You pull the shaft out with the impeller and there are internal seals in there. It might be that one of those has gone. Even so, it shouldn't ever be a fast leak or one to worry about, so we'll keep an eye on it. I'm just running the bike and getting the correct amount of coolant and stuff in it, and then we will carry on. So guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we've cured the leak. We'll know when we start using him, but at least he can be put back together, and probably tomorrow when the weather's nicer, go out on a little test ride. So this is Saturday today, so enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one. And we'll do a hub nut. Are you ready?